East Ohio Gas from 92,000 to 106,000. Obviously, a couple factors into this, one being weather. The second, we have a slightly higher rate in 2013 than we did in 2012. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions from Mr. Rowe? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to sign up with this and move forward to the next council meeting. Moved and seconded. All those in favor say yes. Yes. Noes? Abstentions? This item will appear as ordinance 142. Mayor Drew.
Thank you, Mr. Rio. Second business item on your agenda this evening relates to a grant application which we are asking for your approval on. The nexus of this is that the city of Stow is looking to bring principles of lean, otherwise commonly known as Six Sigma, to our organization. It's something that for over 30 years has been an accepted and common practice across the private sector, and there is a growing awareness and use of the lean principles in the government sector as well. The city of Stow is very excited to partner with the University of Akron and the city of Akron's police department and potentially other communities as well to do training and to bring these principles to our processes and our organization. For those of you who aren't familiar with lean, Mr. Trenner attached several documents, which I know he'll go over in more detail when he speaks here in a minute. But it does give a nice background both of lean in general, as well as some examples of government organizations that have taken advantage of lean and implemented it through its processes. To be clear, this is not about cutting services, cutting staff, things like that, but rather it's about empowering our employees, the ones who actually are engaged in the processes throughout our organization, to identify ways to improve how they do their jobs, to eliminate wasteful procedures within a process, and to devise things that are more efficient and ultimately produce better outcomes for the organization and as a result the city and the residents. So we're asking for your blessings on this grant application. It is an LGIF, Local Government Innovation Fund application, which would be money coming from the state if we are awarded this grant. And it is our goal, as I said, to partner with the University of Akron, as well as the city of Akron, and then potentially with other communities in the area. And with your approval, I know Mr. Trenner has much more details to add, Mr. Rio, than I have.
Sure. Questions from the mayor? Mr. Trenner.
Thank you, Mr. Rio. As Mayor Drew mentioned, lean is used, it's been used for over 30 years in the private sector to improve business performance, primarily in manufacturing. At its core, lean can be applied to any business process to eliminate waste in that process. And there's different types of waste when we talk about lean. Waste can be a step in the process that's not needed, that doesn't add any value to the product. It can be a redundant step in the process. It can be unnecessary movement of people or materials in the process. It can include mistakes that require rectification starting over in the middle of the process. It also includes the failure to fully utilize the time and talents of people in an organization. But it's easy to see how lean can be applied to industry and manufacturing, but it's also being used by the service businesses, healthcare, government, and other public agencies with success. And in the memo I sent to council a few days ago, I attached a few examples of 2 cities that are using lean with success. One is Montgomery, Ohio, with the Cincinnati suburb, and they've actually been using lean since 2006. If you had a chance to look at that attachment, you can see they use lean several different ways, and they weren't terribly complicated processes or big projects, but they were the things that a city would typically do, and they ended up greatly improving that process, and then in doing so, they saved money and time and became more efficient in their delivery of the service. And that's really what it's all about, becoming more efficient in your delivery of services to the community, to the residents and businesses. There's also an example of how a larger city in Texas was using lean, and there's some examples of the benefits to that community. Also, there was a general explanation of how the public sector is using lean in a chapter from a document put out by Kronos. And that's, I think that's probably the best and easiest example of how the public sector is using lean. So there's a number of ways that governments and other public agencies are using lean to improve their performance. Closer to home, Mayor Drew, Nick Brennan, and myself met with the city of Lakewood. He called it their lean team. It's their group of employees they have working to implement lean throughout the city. We met with them several months ago, and they're having great success with lean. They've tried 2 pilot projects so far. It went very well, and they have actually applied to and been awarded funding through the same program that we're asking for funding for to try to implement or integrate lean throughout the city. So they're looking at taking the lean concepts throughout the city. Fortunately, the state's very receptive to this type of project from a local government. We should know more about the status of our grant application if council authorizes the file application in a few weeks. And I'd be happy to answer any questions on any of the material that I sent to council.
Thank you, Mr. Trent. Mr. Laudermilk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I just wanted to, I think this is a good idea. I've actually taken the Greenbelt training, and I know it's benefited our largest employer in the city quite a bit by implementing the Six Sigma principles. The only thing that I guess I would caution is this isn't necessarily a program, it's a lifestyle. Once you start it, it's something you have to stay committed to, and making sure that you're following through on the corrective actions and the things that you found. So hopefully if we do that, this will be a commitment to following through on the recommendations. The other question I guess I have we approached anybody in the city that's currently doing the Six Sigma to see if they would be willing to help or do training?
Yes, Mr. Trenner and Mr. Wren and I have talked with several companies in the city of Stow who implement lean with great success. National Machine being one of them. They very much embrace, as you put it correctly, Mr. Loudermilk, the lifestyle of lean organizations. It truly is something that I think will have a lasting impact on the culture here in the city. And Chief Durker is out ill today, but I wanted to point out, since he's not here to say it himself, that the police department is one of the departments that has already said that they are interested in being some of the initial projects that we implement with lean. One of the things that we learned very clearly from the city of Lakewood is that you need to be specific and small in your initial project so that you can have a handle on how to implement this lifestyle change in your organization, and from there spread it out to other departments and other processes. So Chief Durker is a very strong proponent of this, and he and the police department will be part of this, as well as we believe our purchasing department. So we've already identified some places internally that seem like a great place to start and then grow from there.
If there's anything I can do to help, I think there's a lot of knowledge in MATTEC. I've got not just from the time they spent with us, but time they spent with other corporations like GE, and those that if I can help you make that connection, I'd be willing to do it. I obviously don't run MATTEC, so it'll be up to them. I'd be happy to help make that connection.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Mr. Reed.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, I just want to chime in that this is a winning program. I'm glad that we're looking at it, and if we do make a true commitment to it, taxpayers will be the real winners.
Further questions? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to assign a number to this and move forward to tonight's council meeting.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Noes, abstentions. That item will appear as resolution 143. Does anybody have anything else before final tonight? I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
No, abstentions? This meeting is adjourned.
Good evening, my name is Jim Costello, and I'd like to call this committee of the whole to order. All council members are present. First item on our agenda is the minutes from September 9th. What is your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Any abstentions? The minutes are approved. We have basically one business item this evening, and that is to adjourn into executive session to discuss the classification and appointment of public employees. It's two separate items. So do I have a motion to adjourn to executive session?
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded.
Mr. Costello?
Yes.
Mr. D'Antonio?
Yes.
Mr. Lonergan?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Rio?
Yes.
Mrs. Bednar?
Yes.
Recess into executive session.